Welcome.
Frankie, what up, Frankie?
Dude, nothing much. I booked a flight and an Airbnb to Costa Rica yesterday.
Come on. Wait, where are you going? What part?
Um, Puerto Viejo
No
is what it's
way.
called.
That's crazy. It's literally where I was going. My buddies went. I gotta ask them for recommendations because they were just there 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna go too, but we canceled and went to Nicaragua instead. And they
Mm,
went in Puerto Viejo.
gotcha.
What's your inspiration for going
Dude,
to Costa Rica, Frankie?
what's my what?
What's the inspiration for Costa Rica?
Um, a couple of things. I have a couple of friends that are going. We're all going our separate ways. I'm actually the only one staying around here, but one of them's going to college, and then the other one's going on a Mormon mission, an LDS mission, in like October or November.
Is that 2 year
And
mission
so
or what?
yeah, it's a 2-year mission for their church. Um,
Yep.
and so you go and preach for 2 years, and so this is kind of like one last goodbye trip, and we're gonna live there for a month.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's literally so sick. Bro,
Amazing.
it's gonna be
bro,
really
you're
fun,
literally about to
and
be.
it's really affordable. Like round trip flights were $360,
Wow.
Yeah.
and the Airbnb for a full house was $1,700 for 28 nights.
Yeah, that's
And that's
exactly,
split
yeah.
that's split 4 ways, so
That
Yeah.
it's dirt cheap.
does
That's exactly what me and my boys just did. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's the way to do it for sure. I'd love to talk to you, Michael, a little bit more about like what you did when you were there, and maybe some other pointers.
Right.
Maybe you have time this week.
Yeah, we'll talk, bro. That'll be such a fun trip. Yeah, I'm gonna see. I've been really busy. That's why I haven't been responding. But
Oh,
when
you're
we're in
good.
person together, about we'll talk about everything.
Friday.
yes, literally Friday.
Yeah, we
I
got
can't
plenty of
wait.
time to chat.
It's coming right at.
Me too. I'm excited. I'm stoked. Okay, cool. Well, I guess it's just us. We'll get rolling.
Last weekend,
Today's super simple.
Michael and I and Shelby. So it was great to have the
Oh, was it? Yeah.
yeah, me, you, and Shelby last week on the healing frequencies of essential oils.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
It was an hour-long call.
That's
Like
that was a long call.
totally not intended.
Hmm.
It was just so good.
That was a good topic. Um, okay, cool. Well, let's jump into it. We're gonna talk about frequencies today. Last week we talked about essential oil frequencies. This week we're gonna talk about um power of words and frequency. So it's really simple. There's a Japanese like scientist who did some studies. So I'm just gonna read what I've learned from that. Um, and then we'll kind of shoot from there. Um, Essentially the power of words and even thoughts too, but mainly words, is super important. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna jump in. I'm just gonna read some stuff that I've learned, and I've watched a documentary on this guy. His name's Masaru Emoto, and essentially, it's really fascinating. He would do these water tests, and they would do heavy metal music, and they would do like bad words and things like that, and the water would make like this distorted, ugly water crystal when frozen. The most ugly thing. Oh yeah, you have a picture of it right there. That's so cool. Yeah, you have a picture, and then they would speak good words to it, and maybe play classical music, and it would be like these beautiful crystallized formations. Pretty crazy stuff. Um, and so yeah, I'm just gonna read like a base thing on his life and kind of what he studied. Um, and then I'll kind of talk from personal experience, and then we can all talk. And then I'll send a link at the end too. But his name is Masaru Emoto. Really fascinating. There's a documentary really fascinating. And it made me and others around be really careful about the way we talk and even joking. And I still have to like check myself often with like jokes and things I'm saying because like I can say like a lot of things that are like totally outlandish, like completely out of pocket. And I'm joking, like, and that's kind of my humor, but I do have to be careful because your body can't, there's certain things that don't translate the same, and words have so much power. And I don't think I need to convince you all of that. I think everyone knows that for the most part, but it's a really serious thing. Like, words carry so much weight. There's been so many things in my life that I've talked into existence. There's been so many things in my life I've talked into existence, um, in bad ways and good ways. And I've seen people do it around me too, the way they talk, and that's the reality. And so, anywho, another thing that's really fun to think about is our body is made up to 60 to 70% of water. So if these crystallized formations are making these beautiful crystals when we speak good words, what do you think is happening to our bodies in that same case? And so if y'all watch this documentary, it'll make way more sense. But I'm just going to go in. So Masaru Emoto was a Japanese researcher best known for his experiments suggesting that words, thoughts, and intentions can affect the structure of water crystals. So, water responds to human consciousness. Emoto claimed that molecules can be influenced by spoken words, written messages, music, and even thoughts. Positive stimuli like love, gratitude, or classical music supposedly caused water to form beautiful, symmetrical crystals when frozen. And you guys should watch the video or at least look it up after and see these crystals because they're the most beautiful of crystallized formations. It's unreal. And then negative stimuli like hate, anger, or heavy metal music led to distorted, chaotic, or incomplete crystals. Really interesting. And so we're talking about frequencies and kind of vibrations and things like that. Last week we talked about oils, today's words. And so words have vibrational power. Words carry energy and frequency. What we say. I don't know if you guys have ever been around people who speak. I've even used to be that person, speaking ill of other people or speaking with ill language. These things have a way of bringing the energy down in a room. You're around someone who's negative, speaking words of death. It can really bring the frequency or the vibe, whatever you want to call it, energy down. And I've also hung around people who speak life and are uplifting, and call people higher and speak words that are life giving, and the frequency or the energy is just elevated. It's such a good atmosphere to be in. And so I've experienced both. We all have experienced them, whether we're conscious or not. And, so yeah, it's just really important, I think, to be conscious of it and then see how it can affect you and change your life and change, the lives of the people around you when you start to change and be more conscious of your words. And so, anywho, intent, like we're talking about intention, beyond just words, the intention behind emotion of the words affects the result. Written words taped to water containers had an effect, but those coupled with focused positive thoughts amplified the response. So they even just taped words on these plastic or on these glass water containers, and they froze the little drop once it was done, and just a word taped on to the glass cup or whatever. That itself was enough to make the crystallizations even bad or good. Um, so anywho, I'll send a link to that, but I think it's really important. This is a really simple topic today, and it's more of like a do your homework after. Like, I want to send that link, and I think you guys should look into it more and dive in. But I think the power of words are so important, and if they have the ability to affect and make water crystals, what do you think is happening to us when our bodies are made out of 60 to 70% of water? And all we do is speak language. I mean, all the day long, we're speaking language, and we're only speaking life or death. And so, yeah, Gemma, if you have some thoughts, I know you're reading a book right now, but that was a really simple summary of what I had, and I'll send that link.
Yeah, that's perfect. This book also references that guy, Masaru Emoto,
Yep.
and they preface this section with what his work was, which was this section right here with the pictures of words, the words evil, you fool, and you disgust me are right there on that top section. And there's no actual structure being formed. And there, so that means that that information is what's being transferred. It's just one big mass. These ones are words: love and gratitude, truth and peace. And they're actual crystalline, beautiful snowflakes that form. And this is water that was analyzed. So imagine the water in your body forming into a crystalline structure and removing at the same time any of the junk out of the way that is existing in the cells of your body that carry that water. So I'm just going to read a little bit from here because it felt so good just reading this. I laid in my room on my bed and just read this book out loud so the words would just like absorb into my body. So this is not mystical, it's completely practical. Frequency affects matter, and water is matter. So think of anything else that is matter, and frequency, which comes from your words, because there's voice, there's vocal cords, and there's what is produced out of your mouth. That is already resonance. And that is already frequency coming out of you into something else. And we can go deeper. Have you ever noticed the more negative things you say about something, the worse it gets? Here's an example. This stupid car is a piece of junk. It's always breaking down. Chances are, if you have said this, you have the repair bills to prove it. Automobiles are matter, so matter responds to what you say. Let's take it another step further. How powerful is a thought, which is what Michael mentioned earlier, just the way that you think about something. Even someone walking by and reading that word on a cup, in their mind is affecting the matter within that cup or the water within that cup.
Wow.
Mind over matter. The reason mind over matter works is because just like words, thoughts are frequencies and frequencies affect matter. So whether things come to you or leave from you, whether it's good or bad, it is the energy you're putting towards it with your words and your thoughts, because you are creating structures with the things that you are putting out into the world. You are informing what's coming to you. Thoughts become things. Not every thought, obviously, just the ones that you believe. And this is where it matters the most. The ones where you believe it's going to happen. I believe my car is running in perfect condition and I don't have problems with it. And that is how it is. And I believe so because I genuinely don't like having problems with my car. So I thoroughly enjoy having a perfect vehicle. And that creates like zero problems in my car. The difference between thinking and believing is knowing. So thinking, just thoughts, reading a book, and it goes in one ear and out the other. But believing is knowing that what I'm saying is true. A better term for belief that you know is true, as true is faith. So the word for belief is faith, that we know and we can establish and verify. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. Faith is a belief that is so real that you treat it as substance before it manifests. Any of us who meditate or pray practice this every single time we engage in that. You are focusing on something that is not reality. And your belief in it creating a result for you, whether it's peace, a physical result, an energy of love around you, an acceptance towards people, a healing in your body, meditation or prayer, or time in silence even, but the thought of what you're creating when you're in that silence, the focused energy, is what creates the resonance in everything around you, whatever your thoughts are directed for. And your thoughts don't have a limit on space and time. They can travel through time and they can travel through space. It's not just the things that are within 3 feet of me. It can be things that are thousands of miles away from me. The old saying, seeing is believing, is not far off the mark. In fact, faith is only the difference from your head to your heart. Your physical eyes in your head tell your brain to believe what they see. But the eyes of your heart cause you to believe what you cannot see. Like when someone loves you, you have a feeling. You don't need actions to prove it. And faith is conceived because of that. Your heart is telling you something that you can't see. If you need to see something before you believe it, that is not faith. Faith believes in what you do not see. The reward of faith is to see what you believe, what you believed you would see before it becomes physical manifestation, which is what we practice when we meditate or we pray. It is both the same exact act being put into either words or thoughts, and being presently focused on that thought and being so focused on it that you believe it into existence, no matter the amount of time it's supposed to take. Newtonian physics implies that what goes up must come down. And if you can taste it, touch it, and smell it, then it's real. Yet quantum physics implies that what goes up might stay up, and if you can taste it, touch it, or smell it, then it may not be. Newtonian physics is dependent on gravity and absolutes, but quantum physics defies principles of gravity and absolutes. In other words, with classic Newtonian physics, everything is deterministic. But with quantum physics, nothing is. It is just a series of probabilities. This is how they can have a scan of cancer one day and a scan of no cancer the next day. Because your belief can change, and your belief can change matter before action even takes place. When something physical can vanish within a physical human body, within a smaller amount of time than it is physically possible for that matter to vanish. And I've seen this happen in my own community so many times. It's crazy to think about how, like, if these words in this book are so true, and I've seen it happen in my own life. So this is the last thing I'm going to read from this book. It's just a few more sentences. With this new understanding of physics, which of the two sounds more like faith to you? Remember, that which is visible created everything that is visible. That which is invisible created everything that is visible. So, like the creation of our universe was created by something that was not visible to the human eye. It created all that we see. It actually said that earlier. That the wisdom and the spirit of God moved across the waters of the earth, the surface of the earth. And its resonance and its presence brought form to all of Earth and all of the planet. It shaped this Earth into existence. We rarely have trouble accepting what reality is, yet it is what we don't see that we struggle to believe. So it's just the link between your head and your heart. Your heart causes you to believe so many things because despite not being able to see it. And your eyes will recognize everything that you see as reality because that's what your brain is informing you this is real. But here are two concepts. With your eyes seeing everything that is real, being real is the Newtonian principle that all that you see must be reality, and that's all that there is. Yet the quantum physics is where your heart comes in, and if you believe it to exist, it must exist. And you bring things into reality with your thoughts and your beliefs and your words. So that is the dimension I actually wanted to share with you guys.
That was so good.
It's
Thank you.
energizing to talk about.
Does anyone have? No, that's sweet. Does anyone have any thoughts? Ranky, Eli? Anyone have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the Bible makes it pretty clear that there's power in our tongue and that there's like life and death within our tongue. And so, to be wise with, the things that we say, the things that we think. And I'm reading a book right now called Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Caroline Leaf. And she's talking about how we can rewire our mind and our genes and even ourselves just through the power of the mind. And so it's very important, the things that we think and dwell on and the things that we believe and say. And it affects our day to day, which you can change your perspective on life and your success just through the power of your mind.
Wow.
It's good.
Proverbs
Really good.
21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruits. And love
Come
it
on.
doesn't matter whether it's life or death. If you believe life, you'll have life. You're gonna eat its fruits. If you believe death, you're gonna love it. That is your love is your belief, and your belief is your love, and you're gonna consume that thing.
Come on.
That's so crazy, Frankie. Frankie.
Basically everything she said. I just loved listening. I'm just driving here, but Gemma, something that stuck out to me when you mentioned seeing through your eyes and seeing through the eyes of your heart. I don't know why, but the visual of a magic trick came to mind, because when we see a magic trick, our eyes tell us that it's magic, right? That something he grabbed a card out of thin air, or they, forced a specific card and it looks impossible, right? But your heart or your inner intuition knows what the truth is, right? Because it's a magic trick, it's not like real, right? So it's realer inside than it is what you can see, right? And that's how you know it's that's how you could tell, right? So my takeaway from that was that some things you just know in your heart, even though you can't see it. And eventually, when the person reveals how they do the trick, or when you see something in your life because of the way that you feel in your heart and your soul, there's that evidence that you've created because you saw it here first. So I loved that for myself. And just obviously what you guys were talking about, how you can speak matter. We have power over matter and our existence and our tangible world. I love all that. That's incredible.
So good. That's a cool visual there to think about.
Yeah. This is why the notion, I actually have this on my morning top 5 things to do. As I speak, so it is. What you speak into reality is what you're going to get. As I look around my life, and that's everything that I have. As I spoke it, so I have it. Hi, Alex. Good to see you. Eli, you have any takeaways?
What'd you say?
Oh, Alex, one moment. Eli, did you have any takeaways?
Yeah. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I definitely do have things in there. And I know a lot of things regarding the difference between the Newton's physics and quantum physics, and especially in terms of how one speaks. I really like the car example. And as I was thinking about that, I was thinking of how many things I have to fix in my car. But then I rather I tend to think of it more as like, more like gratitude, like thank God I have a car, thank God it drives, thank God it's a Toyota, thank God it takes me point A to point B. It's like you look at the positives and you speak life rather than death. Because it's like you say, yeah, you can speak to that material and then it's gonna be damaged, or it's gonna be flawed, or it's not gonna how you see it is not gonna be it's gonna be how it works. So if it's like if I keep seeing my car as like this piece of junk and it doesn't work, it's gonna keep breaking down, it's gonna keep not working. I'm gonna focus more on the negatives and the positive. But I'm like, okay, well, my car works, it drives, the engine runs, everything is good, my wheel works, insurance is on point, everything. I get to see the positive in things. So I really love that example, and I really love the difference between seeing and believing versus kind of like having to have something tangible to believe something, in terms of faith.
Yeah,
But
that's so good.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a really good example.
and I really also it's to music too. I don't know if you guys mentioned that part. I think you did, but it's like the music you listen to, they put it to plants. They didn't experiment with plants, and they played like very negative music, or they talk negatively to plants. So they're like saying a lot of negative affirmations, speaking bad to plants, and then gradually, like day by day, the plant started dying. But then when they started speaking life to the plant and they started playing positive music, like classical music and stuff, the plant grew and it blossomed and it thrived. So
Yeah.
definitely the
So cool.
Yeah.
music. It's so easy, especially like in Hispanic music, like for Latinos, Latin music. A lot of it is pretty negative, and sometimes I catch myself listening to it. And I see when I'm listening to it, I can feel the emotions, like the emotions come through me. And if it's like about a certain topic, like a bad topic, maybe like sex or drugs or something, then I can start having
Right.
those. But that's
Right. No,
So be like,
and that's something that's something huge too that we're going to cover in at least one of these weeks. Is the frequency of music, because I mean it's ridiculous, like the effect that music has. Like it probably plays one of the biggest
literally
effects.
used for mind control. It's used for even for torturing. Like,
Yep,
so it's
so true.
It's used for many things, not just for people to listen. I mean, it's to portray a message, it's
Mm.
to send a message to someone.
Yep, there's a whole background between tuning and everything. It's so fascinating. Even the 444, you've got the 440, 432. Everything's tuned to 440 now, I believe. And it's like a 440 is like a super disrupting
It's a negative frequency.
negative frequency. So, and we'll get more into that, but that's such a good, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. The solfeggio tones is what we'll talk about at some point. Those are all of the frequencies that bring healing to the body at different, or they create a certain type of energy production in your body. There's 6 of them. I'm not going to read them off now because it's not for this topic, but it's going to come and we'll read it. But solfeggio tones, if you guys want to look that up before the time of that topic coming around when we talk about music.
Yeah.
We'll talk about music. What in the next 2 weeks, we're going to talk about music and we're going to talk about clothing and the healing frequency of both. One or the other, we're not sure the placement, but if you guys want to look both of those up and study beforehand and bring something tangible to our Wellness Mavericks discussion, that'd be so cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we'll wrap it up. We're going to talk real quickly. Everyone on here is going to the retreat. So we're just going to take a moment, except for one more and my brother. But I'll just talk to him. We're going to go over a couple of quick topics of things to bring. It shouldn't take longer than 10, 15 minutes.
Do you want me to record or do you want me to stop recording?
You could stop.